The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
The western part of our viewing area seeing quite a bit of rain this afternoon. Not everybody saw it, but a lot of people did. The east, though, missing out for the most part, but that doesn't mean they're completely out of luck this week. Let's check in with meteorologist Adam Caskey.
Yeah, and we're looking to the south where we have some areas of rain on the radar in southern Bexar County and south part of San Antonio, which is moving into downtown right now. You look at the radar over the past 2 hours and you look at this activity, how it's evolved quite a bit, where part of it has weakened and shrunken in size. Other parts of it have moved off to the northwest, just west of San Antonio, Medina County, now into Bandera County, and especially a good soaking right now taking place in parts of Kerr County. I'm going to stop the radar so you can just see the latest action out there. Some lightning and thunder with this, of course, city of Medina. And now this is drifting to the north and just west of Kerrville, Ingram area, West Kerrville, and even toward Hunt, some very heavy rainfall. And you look off a little bit to the east down I-10. And Comfort area, especially around Comfort High School, is where we have some of the heaviest rain. And it did pass over Medina Lake, so that was nice to see. When this is all drifting off to the northwest, what we have locally is light in nature and at times a little moderate as well. And this batch is just slowly pushing northward. And I anticipate it to shrink a little bit more in the coming 30 to 60 minutes or so before it really dissipates. And then overnight tonight, the best rain chances, I think, are closer to the Rio Grande. As for rainfall accumulation so far today, really nothing at the airport, officially at least. 90 degrees, that was our high temperature, the average being 94. We'll talk more about how we've modified the rain chances and the forecasts, especially into the weekend, in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. We'll see you then.
All right, let's check out TransGuide right now. This is I-37 at Hackberry. Evidence of exactly what Adam's talking about, that there is rain out there. It's not very heavy in some parts, but at least part of our viewing area getting a good soaking today, and that is welcome.
Help is wanted. Schools across San Antonio are struggling to find bus drivers. That driver shortage leading to longer wait times for kids and bus routes being removed altogether to adjust.
RJ Marquez spoke to the two largest school districts in our area about the changes they've made and why they're asking for patience as they get your kids to and from school.
Like many school districts across the country, Northside ISD is dealing with a bus driver shortage.
Drivers are working round the clock to try to make ends meet in terms of meeting all the needs of the routes.
Northside services 125 schools and over 500 routes. Drivers have been doubling up on some routes in order to meet that demand.
Our dispatchers and our station managers do call outs, notifying the parents that the bus is running late, whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon.
And district officials tell us that they need about 80 more drivers to make up for this bus driver shortage. Now, this station right here off of Culebra Road services 87 routes across the district and is one of the busiest. In fact, they had to adjust their schedule this year to make up by adding an extra high school. Over in Northeast ISD, it's the same story.
Every single person who is qualified to drive a bus, meaning they have their CDL, is behind the wheels.
The district has 42 driver vacancies and doing their best not to cut routes.
It may come, push comes to shove. So we're continuing to try to recruit drivers. Our drivers are doubling up.
Both districts are offering incentives and training to make up for this shortfall.
We offer great benefits, flexible work hours, but just be patient with us.
And for driver Patricia Abraham, one of those benefits is spending time with the students.
It's awesome because when you start their day, you try to be positive about everything.
She says school bus drivers are doing what they can to get kids home safely.
Parents sometimes are not very happy because we take a little bit longer than we should. But all I can say is please have patience because we will get it to them.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
They look like colorful pieces of candy, but they're not. They're actually pills containing the dangerous drug fentanyl, which is 50 times stronger than heroin. Drug pushers have created these so-called rainbow fentanyl pills to attract younger customers, and experts nationwide say it is working. Often kids think that they're taking multicolored Xanax or Adderall, but the pills are laced with fentanyl, sometimes in deadly amounts. Local licensed chemical dependency counselor Jody Guetta tells parents that the time to talk to your kids is now, even if they're young.
Now we have to focus on, addressing kids at a younger age that we never thought we would have to. But the reality is we need to be talking to our kids as soon as possible.
Guerra says it is worth having some uncomfortable conversations now if it could save your loved one's life in the future.
And now to the former constable in court. We've reached day 6 of the Michelle Barrientos Vela public corruption trial. Security records from Rodriguez Park that made their way into the hands of Texas Rangers on full display. Lead investigator Texas Ranger Bradley Freeman walked the jury through the list of subpoenas he had to issue to the then constable in the summer of 2019. Freeman at one point said he believed the ex-constable had committed official oppression, something she hasn't actually been charged with. That caused the judge to pause the trial altogether and weigh whether or not to declare a mistrial.
This is ridiculous. I mean, we were clear about this. We had hearings outside the jury's presence multiple times. She's asking a question about what offense is, and then he bites for it. They knew it. They knew they were going to do this. There's no other explanation. These are not stupid people. They knew exactly what was going on. You were more than fair and more than clear of your admonishments not to talk about anything outside the motion in limine. Clear.
Judge Velia Mesa actually denied that motion for a mistrial, but ordered Freeman to go to a show cause hearing for him to demonstrate why he was not in contempt of court with what he said. He must now attend a hearing at a later date. The prosecution is nearing the end of its case. Defense attorneys for Barrientos Vela have not indicated if they plan to call any witnesses.
A plan to send millions of dollars back to CPS Energy customers has apparently stalled, but the mayor and the city staff who have been pushing for that are not calling it quits. Our Garrett Berger joins us live now with where things stand on this. So Garrett, first things first, how much money are we actually talking about here?
Well, Myra, the city gets a portion of CPS Energy revenues in lieu of them paying taxes. And because of the high heat and the high cost of natural gas, everybody's bills have been skyrocketing, and that means that the city's going to take in $75 million more than it had expected to. But we're really only talking about $50 million worth of that. Now, city staff had proposed sending most of that $50 million directly back to you, the CPS customers, as bill credits, determined by how much energy people used in July, while another few $1 million would go towards an assistance program for low-income customers. Per the latest version of the plan, the average residential customer would get a $29 credit on their October bill. But while there was support for helping low-income customers that we heard, several council members today said rebates aren't what constituents want. Instead, they talked about using the money to protect against more extreme weather in the future, including weatherizing homes and planting trees.
So we could give a one-time rebate, which in District 1 would be $25, or we could help them save, a weatherized homeowner save $372 a year every year.
In the face of that opposition, and with several council members absent for today's meeting, the city manager said a vote scheduled for next week would be pulled from the agenda, and that there would still need to be some more council conversation. Now, council does need to decide what to do with that $50 million relatively quickly. They're scheduled to vote on the budget on September 15th. That's just a little over 2 weeks from today. Live at City Hall, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Garrett. New at 6, DoorDash wants to help deliver essential health products straight to your door at no cost. The Texas Diaper Bank has actually partnered up with the online ordering app to reach clients in an innovative way while saving hundreds of dollars a week. That's the hope anyway. Alicia Barrera spoke to a local mom who says deliveries of diapers and menstrual products have made life easier while dealing with inflation.
For the past 6 years, Ashley Rocha has been a client of the Texas Diaper Bank.
Especially like with the feminine products, like I don't have there was times where I didn't have enough funds, or I didn't have no one to give me none. And they were always there to able to provide extra.
And now DoorDash's Project Dash is making it even easier to get the products she needs straight to her door, including diapers and pull-ups for her kids.
They also give you a time and date, and then they also always give you a message like 30 minutes before, an hour before, they're on the way to deliver.
For this program, the Texas Diaper Bank directly sets up the DoorDash delivery to clients' home within a 10-mile radius of the warehouse.
The process for the client is really easy. All they have to do is enroll in our program, and we take care of determining whether they are in that 10-mile radius.
Nearly 300 orders have been delivered thanks to this new partnership, and the biggest needs have been products for children and menstrual.
Deliveries that are helping save an estimated $10,000 a year on fuel and wear and tear for the nonprofit's vehicles. Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
New at 6, a historic building that was once the Liberty Bar has been transformed into what is being called a new neighborhood oasis. Looks pretty cool. The more than 100-year-old building is now a new restaurant by the Pearl. Erica Hernandez takes us inside Kariki for a look at just how much of a transformation the building has undergone.
Named after the South Texas native green jay, Kariki is a complete transformation of what was once known as Bowler's Liberty Saloon and more recently, the Liberty Bar.
It has a spirit to it, and it tells the story of all different eras of San Antonio.
Elizabeth Farso, CEO of the company that owns and manages Kariki, says back in 2014, the building was bought and renovated to fix the bar's famous lean, and also moved the building down a block to the corner of Grayson and Avenue A. In all, it took about 8 years to restore.
We felt like we wanted some more room. We wanted room for a courtyard and a patio and space for people to be able to see the building and to be closer to Pearl.
The building now features an additional rock house built from limestone and a pit area that features special-made crank down pits.
Well, there might be some parts of this place that are, of course, updated and upgraded, and there's some new features, but there are parts that are still the same, like the original bar that it's over 100 years old.
It's a 130-year-old bar, the original balcony, so we were able to preserve some really important parts of it.
As for the future, there are big plans to make Kariki a destination spot.
We have this idea that to pay homage to the space and create something that's really going to be loved and cherished by San Antonio, it needs to be one of those institutions that lasts and lasts and is a place that people all over Texas want to come visit.
Kariki opens on Friday and will be open 7 days a week. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Kariki.
Looks beautiful.
Does look very cool.
But today, maybe not the day for some outdoor evening dining because it is damp. A little rainy.
Maybe a covered balcony.
There you go.
Something like that. I don't know. Adam Caskey will tell us how today is going to play out and what the next few days will play out when it comes to rain chances when we come back.
I'm Stefania Jimenez, and here's what we're working on for you tonight on the Nightbeat. On the clock and running out of time, where security efforts stand at Uvalde schools just 1 week before students return to class. Plus, a donation decline now turning into a debate. School board's decision to say thanks, but no thanks. And why it's prompting some to raise questions over a state law. Those stories and a lot more for you tonight on the Nightbeat.
New at 6, after 20 years and 2,461 American lives lost, the war in Afghanistan ended 1 year ago today. The image of Afghans desperately clinging to a U.S. military plane leaving that country has become iconic. It was the images of the Twin Towers falling on 9/11 that stick with us as what led to America's longest war. Tonight, Jesse DeGollado speaking with 2 local veterans about what they think now.
Adam Balicki spent the morning cleaning his food truck, unaware it's been 1 year since America's longest war finally ended.
You have to realize that, you're not getting where you want to go and go somewhere else.
A former paratrooper also in Special Forces, Balicki says he served 2 tours in Afghanistan after 2 others in Iraq.
No regrets. Would I do it over again? Yep, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
But as far as how it ended a year ago,
it could have went smoother, Yeah.
Among the dozens of desperate Afghans trying to flee the Taliban, killed by a suicide bomber, were 13 U.S. troops.
Their sacrifice is not forgotten.
Mike Torino is the senior vice commander of VFW Post 76. It recently honored the Americans who died that day. As it has for veterans for over a century, the oldest VFW post in Texas is giving Mike Torino the emotional support he needs.
Ease some of the internal conflict that I might think about.
Torino himself served in the Combat Stress Unit at Bagram Air Force Base, a Level 1 trauma center. Often, he says, he'd help those on the front lines deal with their emotional wounds. Looking back now, Torino uses a quote from Star Wars.
There is no try, there's only do. And we did our best.
To question whether the war in Afghanistan was worth it after so many sacrificed so much.
It would be a huge disrespect to them to say it wasn't.
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
All right, the weather situation outside. There's been some great rainfall in our viewing area, just not maybe over downtown San Antonio, but other parts. I mean, you're talking, what, 7 inches? Plus?
Yes, west of San Antonio, especially closer to the Rio Grande. That was particularly early this morning up through about the noon hour when we had that activity out to the west. Right now, the action is very light in nature on the city's south side, and we're talking about this before, how it's likely to fizzle out. Well, that's happening even more rapidly than expected. The yellows indicate the pockets of moderate rain, and they've really come to an end. And now we just have very light sprinkle activity from downtown toward Kirby to China Grove, all the way around to Elmendorf. And this includes the roadways, you know, I-37 south of San Antonio, 410 on the east side of town, even 1604 as well on the south and east side of town. And some wet roadways, but the actual rain is tapering off, and this isn't going to last all that much longer and not going to add up to really anything substantial locally, nothing that beneficial. But you get off to the west, and this is where we actually have a new flash flood warning in Bandera County. That flash flood warning is in effect until 9 p.m. because this is an area that's had a lot of rainfall recently, and this heavy rain from Bandera to Medina, Los Maples, Tarpley, even roughly Vanderpool, pushing northward into Kerr County. So we'll have to watch for the potential of flash flooding in parts of Kerr County as well. When I talk about the rainfall totals, and it's an area of heavy rainfall, look at the 24-hour accumulations estimated by the Doppler radar. And I'll turn the lightning off because that kind of gets in the way of those little white whiskers, as I call them. Between Vanderpool and Medina, this purple area in Bandera County where we currently have the flash flood warning, look at that. 5.9 inches of rain estimated by the Doppler radar over the past 24 hours. You see that sharp cutoff here because that's the range, the end of the range of this particular Doppler radar. We'll switch over to the other one in a moment, but you look past 24 hours, some good rainfall out there. The yellows are 2 inches or more. North side of San Antonio, downtown, really not a whole lot. It's just the nature of it. We know that some folks will be getting a soaking while others just barely even a glancing below. Now, speaking of soaking, Del Rio actually had some flash flooding issues earlier today, and you look at these totals, the purples here, I mean, those purple colors indicating over 5 inches of rain, even nearly 7 inches between Edwards and Real County, and then just south of Brackettville. Look at that. One bullseye in northern Maverick County, 9.5 inches of rain. So far since August 1st, 2.1 inches of rain, and actually that's a little above average for the month-to-date rainfall. I do see our rain chances dropping a bit the next couple of days and then ramping up again into the weekend. Circulation overhead, the upper level disturbance over West Texas, that's drifting westward. I think that's going to be enough to focus the better rain chances closer to the Rio Grande late tonight and even throughout the day tomorrow. I give most of us about a 30% chance, so isolated in nature, some random pop-up afternoon showers, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday especially, we increase those odds again to better coverage, more scattered in nature, but it's going to be more of the same. Some folks get a quick couple of inches while others just see dark clouds. Tropics are becoming active out there as it typically does this time of year, but none of this activity that's likely to develop is headed in our direction. Right now we're at 80 degrees, but some locations in the 70s. Tomorrow we start the day at 76 by the afternoon, 93 with those isolated showers. I think a good portion of us will get in the lower 90s. And then again, I know good rain chances is a good thing, but timing over the Labor Day weekend, but we'll take it. We need the rain.
Yes, we will. Thank you, Adam.
All right, the idea is to fill the dome. And if, the game's not enough, how about, do you like banners?
Yes, championship banners. And we're trying to get people early to the game when UTSA opens their season this very Saturday. When we come back, we'll give you some full incentive why, and that right there is a big reason why you want to get there early. And the Rockets are hosting Austin Westlake, another huge game in just the second week of big game coverage coming up. When the UTSA Roadrunners kick off their 2022 season this Saturday in the Alamo Dome. The Roadrunners are encouraging fans to get to their seats a little early. That's so they can see the unveiling of the Conference USA Championship banner in the rafters of the Alamo Dome. The Roadrunners are coming off the best football season in school history with their 12-win season, and they begin defense of their title against the University of Houston. What is the vibe like on game week?
We have a saying that, it doesn't matter who we're playing. And we're always trying to prepare the best we can and focus on us and getting ready to play. But obviously, game week, there's a little bit more of that energy you feel that, amongst the team. But, we're excited. We're excited. We're flying around making plays, and we're just getting better each and every day leading up to the game.
I feel like everybody was juiced up. I feel like, I hate saying it, but it was, from everybody, it was just a little bit different because I feel like everybody was more locked in compared to like a regular past week in fall camp. We're pretty locked into our fall camp, but just a game week is a little different.
All right, kickoff in the Alamo Dome on Saturday is set for 2:30 p.m. Texas Longhorns kick off their season this Saturday night when they host Louisiana Monroe. Quinn Ewers will be the starting quarterback who transferred from Ohio State to originally committing to Texas, but a lot of the focus will be on the running back, Bijan Robinson, a preseason All-American and a Heisman Trophy candidate as he enters his junior season. Robinson is coming off a season where he rushed for over 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns on the ground while he had another 4 TDs receiving in 10 games.
We have to give him the opportunity to be that complete player, right? We can't have just a stationary target all the time, so we've got to make sure that we're utilizing the strengths that he has.
And kickoff on Saturday at Royal Memorial Stadium is set for 7 p.m. The Fighting Texas Aggies will open their season this Saturday when they host Sam Houston with Haynes King as their starting quarterback. Head coach Jimbo Fisher confirming his choice on Monday after word had leaked out over the weekend that King had been installed as the Aggie starter after breaking his leg against Colorado last season. The pressure is on Jimbo Fisher to produce this season after finishing just 8-4 last year, 4-4 in the SEC, even though they did beat Alabama in Aggie land 41-38 on a game-winning field goal after finishing 9-1 the season before.
I feel confident in all of our guys, and I don't feel very unconfident in any of them. I think we have a very good team that has a chance to play very well. We just have to prepare well, practice well, so we can play well.
And kickoff in College Station on Saturday is at 11 a.m. One of the big games in our big game coverage this Friday night will be the Judson Rockets hosting the Westlake Chaparrals out of Austin. The Rockets are coming off their season opening 46-43 overtime victory against Johnson in the KSAT Pigskin Classic 2022 in the Alamo Dome this past Saturday. Looking forward to hosting one of the premier teams in the state this coming Friday night. That's after Austin Westlake defeated Ridge Point 44-14 in their season opener.
I know they're real good in the box. The O-line and D-line's real makes that team. So our O-line and D-line got to step up, and the skills got to make plays when the plays are needed to be made.
We know they're a great team. Everybody knows who they are. We're the underdogs, most definitely. But like Coach told us today, we worry about ourselves, and we'll get the job done.
All right, kickoff between Judson and Austin Westlake at Rutledge Stadium will be at 7 p.m. this Friday night. We have 2 of the top teams in the state inside San Antonio city limits because not only is Judson playing Westlake, Steelers playing Lake Travis.
Right.
So how about those 2 big games?
Back-to-back tough games for both those teams. Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
Our KSAT Q&A with Mayor Ron Nirenberg is up next.
CPS Energy has a surplus. The question is, what is going to happen with that money? What should happen with that money? It's one of the many questions we're going to put to San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg, who joins us now live. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being with us. You are an advocate of giving part of that money back to CPS Energy customers. It does not seem like that's a universal opinion at this point. Do you think that's the most likely thing to come out of the surplus that CPS Energy has right now?
Yeah, and let me first level set a little bit. This is not a CPS Energy surplus. What we're talking about is excess revenues that the city has received as a result of its 14% dividend from CPS revenues. CPS, again, owned by the municipality, provides 14% of revenues to the city to do things like pave streets, pay for parks, police and fire services. It's part of the general fund. Because of the high energy costs and the use of energy over the summer, there's additional revenues far beyond what was forecast. And the debate right now is what to do with those excess revenues. City manager has proposed a rebate of roughly $50 million back to CPS customers. Unfortunately, for the money has to go back the same way it came in. So if the rebate goes back out to customers who paid, the average rebate is quite small compared to the bills that people actually received. Again, the high bills were a result of high gas prices, in addition to a lot of extra use because of the heat. So that's the debate going on right now: is should there be a rebate? If not, should there be some focus on weatherization relief for customers so we can avoid some of these high bills in the future? So it's an ongoing conversation right now. It'll be settled in the next few weeks. What I have said is that I support the rebate. If we don't do a rebate, however, it needs to be in a program that has a plan, that has some proof that it can be to be funded and implemented in a proper manner. We do weatherization programs. We work on heat mitigation already. We've got to understand where the proposal is to make use of the funds in an equitable and effective manner.
So you're open to options, like you're not just stuck on a rebate.
Well, if there's not support for a rebate, then we've got to make sure that there's a plan that can be done effectively and that will be directed at customers who, again, have been seeing these very high gas prices and high energy costs. And the way that we could possibly do that is through weatherization. But again, this is all the result of customers who have seen really high gas and energy costs over the summer. In my opinion, we need to provide some relief back to the customers.
And you're right. What that $50 million amounts to per customer, roughly $30 with what everything's costing right now, that's not going to go very far for the individual customer. But when we're talking about the idea of weatherization, that has been already discussed in these budget sessions. But is there a plan at this point that's being proposed of what that would look like that's perhaps different than what the city already does to help out people weatherize their homes?
What I have heard folks discuss, and you heard that again today, is things like what the STEP program, the Saving Tomorrow Energy program, does for the city, does for the community. We fund a STEP program. In fact, the second phase of STEP was approved by the city council just a few months ago, that will provide money for weatherization and other heat and energy demand mitigation programs. So in my mind, we've got some programs in place that already effectively do what has been proposed. Question is there enough money in those programs to make it effective? That question has not been answered. So at this time, what I would like to see happen is relief for the ratepayers. Even if it's not, it doesn't amount to much on average, at least it's ratepayer relief that, again, folks deserve. We've seen very high prices over the course of the summer. We know what inflation has meant to the average family. We need to find ways to help with that relief.
Speaking of CPS Energy, the acting CEO, Rudy Garza, is in contract negotiations reportedly. That's what we've reported. He took over for Paula Gold-Williams in obviously a very tough situation with the February winter outages and things like that going on. Are you supportive of him being given the permanent title?
I am. And last, the CPS Energy Board had a meeting to get an update from the personnel committee about how the search was going. And part of that process is develop a profile of who we want to see based on community input and what we've heard from the community over the last 10 months, who we want to see in the role permanent for CPS Energy. And in my mind, the characteristics and the skill set of the person that we are trying to see at the helm of CPS Energy has been exemplified in Rudy's leadership over the last 10 very difficult months. He took over the utility at a very difficult time, has helped to steady the ship, and has really helped to start the reemergence of CPS Energy to what it once was, which is the elite, one of the best, if not the best, municipal energy companies in the country. That's our vision for this company, and I think Rudy is on his way to achieving it.
The labor secretary was in town yesterday, really applauding a San Antonio program ready to work, really an effort to get people back on their feet in terms of job training and in career pathways, especially after the pandemic. So to have somebody from the national level looking at San Antonio as a potential model for other places, what's that mean for you in terms of implementing this program over, 2 pretty tough years?
Yeah, well, we've seen the devastation that the pandemic has wrought across the country, and here in San Antonio included, the job loss and the income impacts that it's had for San Antonio families. We are not unique. This is happening all across the country. And in fact, the pandemic only worsened conditions that were here before. So this job training program, Ready to Work, which was approved by 77% of San Antonio voters, has launched. It's 3.5 months old at this point. We've already had over 5,400 applications. So this is needed. Having the Secretary of Labor from the U.S. come down and see the program and laud it the way he has and say that it's a model for the rest of the nation is really credibility to our approach. It doesn't mean by any stretch that we're done yet. There's a lot of hard work that continues to go in the program to make sure it's successful. But it is affirmation of the approach that we've taken, and one more proof positive that San Antonio is a model for the rest of the country as we work on these recovery programs. So it was great to have him in. There's one thing that can't be replicated, though, and that is the collaboration and the spirit of the San Antonio community. This is a program that was built by the people of our community that believe in each other and want to get families back on their feet. And that's not something I think you can easily replicate in other communities.
And I know the labor secretary, correct me if I'm wrong, is the former mayor of Boston. So did you, I know you're a Red Sox fan, did you get to talk Red Sox with him at all, or,
Very briefly, and I will say this is the only time I've not been given grief for being a Red Sox fan is when having former mayor of Boston come in, who's now the Secretary of Labor. But we did talk a little bit of baseball. It's not been a good season for the Red Sox, so it was a short conversation.
That's what I was going to say. Misery loves company, so I'm glad you had somebody you could vent to.
Yeah, for sure. But it was great to have him in, and we can commiserate, hopefully, on college football here pretty soon. But we have a lot to share in that regard. It's going to be a good season for the Roadrunners. So we're on the football season at this point.
That's right.
Go UTSA. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good night.
We'll be right back. Uber is adding a feature to improve safety for users. Customers will now be able to connect with a live agent from ADT Security. Uber says the agent will monitor the entire route, and this can help ease potentially uncomfortable situations like a driver running low on gas or a ride through an unfamiliar neighborhood.
Yeah, Lyft has actually had this security feature for the past few years. Both Uber and Lyft facing numerous individual assault claims lawsuits. The suits say the companies did not do enough to protect riders.
Look outside with live cam once again this evening. Big clouds out there giving some areas some really big rain today. We're wondering if more people will see some of that action, Adam.
I do think we have some good rain chances tonight, but that's going to be west of San Antonio. Locally, I don't anticipate much from now through the rest of the night, even the morning commute, but some more development is likely farther to the west, basically between roughly Hondo and through the Rio Grande as you go westward. We're already seeing some heavy action out there to the northwest of San Antonio. We're talking northwestern Medina County into Bandera County, and now especially overspreading Kerr County. Some heavy rainfall, and a little bit too much of a good thing, too. We still have this flash flood warning in effect until 9 p.m. for most of Bandera County. We're going to talk about where the best rain chances are the rest of the weekend, even through the weekend. We've changed the forecast a bit. We'll see in a sec.
All right, some good rain to talk about today, but we know that we could need more. And Adam, you said some things have changed into the week ahead?
Yeah, I'm seeing a shift in the pattern where I'm actually increasing the rain chances into the upcoming weekend. So very promising for rain. I just know the timing may not be ideal for everybody, right, being the Labor Day weekend, but I do think it's going to be good for us and good drought denting rain. What we had around San Antonio is largely dissipated. You see, this fell apart. It dropped some good rain in Atascosa County, but now it's just a very light sprinkle on the city's far east and southeast side, Elmendorf and around 1604 and just south of I-10 and 1604. That's what we had locally. A good portion of San Antonio didn't see anything today, whereas all around us saw some decent soaking rain and even some flash flooding, which I mentioned before, still ongoing in parts of Bandera County. And now we're seeing more development southward through Sabinal and even farther to the south, just west of I-35 in parts of Frio County and Zavala County, right on the county lines here, little four corners where they all come together. And I do anticipate further development because of our general pattern that's taking shape. We've got upper level energy that's helping us out a bit, and I do think that's going to favor locations west of San Antonio overnight. Locally, and for a good portion of us, just some isolated pop-up activity the next few days. 30%, and then by Friday, Saturday, 40%, even a little bit higher into Sunday because of that little shift in our weather pattern. So this has been the view across the state. Good drought denting rainfall, but notice this movement westward and some development westward with this little broken line and batch. It looks like that's going to continue to develop. It's got some energy here from this upper level circulation, this upper level low in West Texas that's drifting slowly westward. So that's one reason why it looks like most, if not all of that tonight and early tomorrow is going to stay west of San Antonio, basically roughly between the Hondo, Castroville area and the Rio Grande. That's going to move the energy westward, consequent showers as well. And then as that low drifts westward, I think our rain chances fall off the next couple of days before we see another shift and some energy move in, bumping them up into the weekend. Here's our futurecast, and it's showing some activity out there west of San Antonio by 11 o'clock and even midnight. Exact placement I don't think is really going to be so spot on, but notice as we go into the morning, some more development in already flood-prone areas because of the heavy rainfall this morning. We're talking Del Rio to Brackettville down to Eagle Pass. So flash flooding is a concern, of course, because sounds weird to say, we actually have some saturated soils out west right now because of the several inches of rainfall early this morning. But focus locally, and we get into the afternoon, I think coverage is going to be limited, and now the futurecast is starting to pick up on that as well. Just a few little ho-hum pop-up little showers or isolated downpours briefly tomorrow. And the same goes for Thursday. Then we ramp it up again Friday through the weekend. Right now we're at 80 degrees after a high temperature of 90, dew point of 71. It is sticky, but it takes that humid air to help generate some very efficient rain-producing showers and storms. Pleasanton now 77 along with Austin, Kerrville 74, Hondo 76. 80 officially at the airport, but Gonzales 82 and currently Bandera at 72 with the areas of rain. Tomorrow morning we start the day at 76, and I think some showers closer to the Rio Grande, some border showers out there in some locations far west of San Antonio, and then just a 30% chance as we get into the afternoon. About 93 degrees the high temperature, mostly lower 90s on the map tomorrow. 90 Rio Medina, New Braunfels and Seguin, about 91. Looking ahead, Thursday, similar, probably a few degrees warmer, about 94 the high, partly cloudy, some isolated showers. And then I'm seeing the little disturbance drop in from the north with better chances of those afternoon scattered or widely separated downpours periodically throughout the weekend. Not all the time and not everywhere at once. You'll still be able to get outside and squeeze in some activities, but some soakers are likely.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
In case you missed it, it's coming up next.
Today's In Case You Missed.
It's Tuesday, August 30th. KSAT 12 joining more than a dozen other media outlets in filing another lawsuit to obtain access to records related to the May 24th massacre inside Robb Elementary. This latest lawsuit filed Monday against the city of Uvalde, the Uvalde County Sheriff's Office, and Uvalde CISD, the school district. It follows dozens of requests from KSAT and other organizations to gain access to body camera and surveillance footage, 911 calls, and communications from local leaders, all which are public record, but we haven't received so far. This is in regard to the 19 students and 2 teachers who died that day.
And the search continues for a man believed to be connected to a series of burglaries. Police say he broke into consignment shops in San Antonio, Olmos Park, Castle Hills, and Soma. SAPD says this man is seen wearing the same Nike Jordans in all burglary videos. He also has a tattoo of Benjamin Franklin on his right forearm. Officers tell us the suspect targets high-end handbags.
The Texas Department of State Health Services is now reporting the first death of a person infected with monkeypox. It's happening in Harris County. The state says it was an adult who was severely immunocompromised, but that case is still being investigated to determine what role monkeypox played in the death. Take a look at this. A hawk on the mend after an accident with a car in Virginia. It happened over the weekend when a driver reported to police that a bird had gotten caught in the grill of her car.
Fairfax County Animal Protection officer responded and was able to remove the hawk from the vehicle. Was then taken to a licensed wildlife rehab center for treatment. Ooh.
That looks painful.
A few sprinkles on the far east side of town. Otherwise, the main action is stretching from roughly Sabinal northward all the way up into Bandera County, where it's starting to lighten up a little bit in Bandera County, but getting heavier as you get up into Kerr County, particularly Kerrville, toward Ingram, now up to Hunt, moving into Mountain Home. And I anticipate some more development tonight into tomorrow morning from that area westward toward the Rio Grande. Locally, I think we're just looking at a few isolated pop-up showers the next couple of days, but higher odds, better coverage of rain Friday and especially into the weekend.
Thanks, Adam, and thanks for watching the news at 6.
See you back here on the Night Beat at 10.